We'll pause right there and let you watch the rest of that on your own. You can find that through YouTube under the three-ring government. All right, yes, this is Mr. Kuhn. This is the 2013-14 version of Mr. Kuhn. Volume 2 of this that you're going to watch was from last year, so I apologize, but I did promise you I would get around to refilming this. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Constitutional Convention. We just got done discussing Charles Beard's argument. Now we're going to get into what actually happened. All right, beginning with the Virginia Plan. You can see here it's proposed by Edmund Randolph, but that's only because James Madison was very quiet and shy. A lot of you can sympathize with him. And he had come up with this idea. He'd actually been in Philadelphia weeks before, kind of working this out and drafting up his proposals and things before everybody got there. So he kind of had the game plan. All right, he proposed, just like you saw in the three-ring government there, a legislative branch, an executive branch, and a judicial branch, okay, each having separate responsibilities. We're all familiar with that. His Congress was going to be a two-house legislature. It would have a House of Representatives and a Senate, all right? However, different than our House and Senate, these were both going to be based on population. So the larger the state, the more representatives you were going to get. Now let's take a wild guess. What would be? Oh, Madison happens to be from, Virginia. Virginia had the largest population by far in the colony, so obviously they would get the most representation under his plan. Okay, the voters in the states would elect the members of the House. So in theory, the House was the only institution that was going to be democratic. Okay, in the sense not democratic as in political parties, but democratic as in chosen by the people. Then once the House was selected, they would choose members of the Senate. Okay, so the House would pick the Senate, which would kind of become your upper house. All right, so that's our Virginia plan proposed by Madison. There is more to it. Okay, Congress would have all of the powers it had under the Articles, plus they could make laws for the states that states would have to follow. They could override state laws. So if a state law conflicted with the Constitution, the Congress could override those, and states would be forced to obey the national laws, where right now that is not the case. For example, No Child Left Behind, that you're all a product of, the states do not have to follow that law. Okay? If they don't, however, they face severe financial penalties that they would never dare change. Same thing with a 21-year-old drinking age. You don't have to make the drinking age 21. You're not forced to obey it. Instead, you choose to get money. Congress would then choose members of the judicial branch, and they would select the president. Okay, so the other two branches would basically be beholden to Congress. And then people objected to the Virginia plan because it was just too strong and too much power. The smaller states were worried they would not have a voice. Remember, Rhode Island's not even here. Okay, New Jersey and Delaware also opposed because they would have had few representatives and didn't want Congress controlling them, telling them what to do. All right, little question here inserted just to keep you honest. All right, how many houses exist in a unicameral legislature? You can pause your video, take a second to think about it, or you can answer right away knowing that it is one house, one and uni. Okay, a two-house legislature, which was what Madison was proposing, is bicameral. All right, a very important term for us to know in our class. I will give 2 extra credit points on Tuesday's quiz for the first student to have the word bicameral up on my word wall Monday morning. Moving along. All right. The Virginia plan was defeated, as you can imagine. All right. There were only 11 states voting at the convention. You wrote in your notes that there were 12, but only 11 voted because New York left early and New Hampshire got there late. So there was really only 11 at any one time. So 6 votes were needed to get it passed. Virginia couldn't muster up the 6. Okay, here comes the New Jersey plan. Some of you might have been William Patterson on your Facebook page. And he proposed this, all right, which was all states would have an equal number of representatives, all right, 1 vote per state in the legislature. Okay, Congress would have 1 house, thus making it, yes, you said it, unicameral, and would be elected by state legislatures as opposed to the people. Congress would choose a bunch of people to serve in the executive branch. So you would have like a committee as opposed to one person heading the executive. The theory being that one person couldn't become all powerful and that the committee could check each other, and then they would then appoint the judicial branch. Okay? Now, why do you think this one didn't pass? Because essentially what William Patterson was proposing was the Articles of Confederation all over again. The small states liked it, they benefited, let's keep it. Okay, this was defeated as well. All right, so we're really going nowhere. So to finally solve this problem, we should know this from U.S. history. What was the compromise that resolved the issue of representation in the legislature? I'll give you a second. Pause your videos. And the answer is the Great Compromise. All right, your book will also call this the Connecticut Compromise. It's the same thing. The reason being is it was proposed by Roger Sherman. Okay, he's the one that resolved the issue through the Great Compromise. Important to know. What you call it is up to you. All right, now one of the things the Great Compromise created was a House of Representatives. All right, what is the purpose of the House? What are they supposed to do? Pause it up. Here we go. Your correct answer is D. They are there to represent the majority. Okay, they are chosen by the people. All right, and it's based on population. So it is truly a democratic institution. However, the Senate is less democratic because it is not chosen by the people and does not represent people equally. Okay, we'll go ahead and pause the video. All right, you can get on to the episode 2, which is last year's, and that's going to pick up with the Great Compromise. Sorry for the bad quality of the last one. All right, hopefully this one is good. Thank you.